It's been a whirlwind NFL season where no NFL team is unbeatable. Just to put it in perspective, last night on Monday Night Football, Bijan Robinson went for over 200 yards and had the Falcons in the retro jerseys upset the Rams. This would be the first time this season, though, the Rams lost in embarrassing fashion. If you're an Eagles fan, we of course had the comeback win against them in week 3. But the Eagles win ugly games all the time, and the times that they don't, like against Cam Scaboo and the Giants, we lose in embarrassing fashion of our own. But two good things can't happen in a row for the Giants as they lost to the Vikings in one of the most ugliest games of the year. But inconsistent QB play led to Minnesota's downfall. That's why they lost to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. But the Ravens have flaws of their own. They ended up losing to 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. You're probably asking yourself, how do you lose to a 40-year-old quarterback? Well, the Seahawks did not do that, and they destroyed the Steelers in the Steelers' home opener. Seattle's probably going to finish as the 1 seed, but it doesn't come with a couple of losses of their own. They ended up losing to the Bucks in both the retro uniforms all the way back in September. But we all know how this season is ending for Tampa Bay. It's not pretty. That's why they lost to the Panthers. But the Panthers are probably the biggest wildcard team, and I mean that in the most chaotic way possible in the NFL this year. That's why they got blown out by the Buffalo Bills. But the Bills lost to that incredible defense in Houston for the Texans. But the Texans, they started off the season 0-3, including a loss to division rival Jags. But the Jags at the beginning of the year ended up losing to Jake Browning of all people and the Cincinnati Bengals. But the Bengals defense is hilariously dog shit. That's why they had Justin Fields and the Jets post 39 points against them in a 1-point win. But just like the other New York team, two good things can't happen back to back, and they got destroyed in Drake May's probably best performance as a starter this year. And you're probably thinking to yourself, how does this all connect? Ladies and gentlemen, homies of all ages, the NFL is an entire script. Because if you've been following the thread of all these teams, then you know, all the way back in week 1, the first game of the NFL season, the Raiders, the team that will most likely get the first overall pick, ended up beating the New England Patriots, who will most likely end up getting the first seed in the AFC. Crazy.